Today's one of those days where the weather is so good I almost called out of work, but instead I decided to cook outside. Today I'm going to show you how to make my delicious smoked mac and cheese. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen.
Go for that crispy piece now. Hold on, what you doing now? On God. Oh, that's me. Ooh. The crispiness of it? Mix with it. Right now? No, you good. That's fine.
All right, people, you can't have a good mac and cheese without a well-balanced distribution or choice of cheese. And today I'm going to talk you through that. So I like to start with something that's creamy and mild, something like a mozzarella, kind of as the foundation. Then we have Colby Jack that I like to use on top because it melts really nicely and it has beautiful color. You get some flavor from the sharp cheddar, sharpness obviously, smoked gouda to play off the smokiness from the grill or the smoker that we're using, and you get a little saltiness from the Parmesan cheese. When you're picking your cheeses, the idea here is not to pick 3 or 4 sharp cheeses or 3 or 4 smoky cheeses. You want to have balance. So that's why I chose the 5 that we got right here. All right, guys, one of the pro tips that I'm going to give you for your mac and cheese is to always shred your own cheese. The reason for that is because the store-bought stuff that comes pre-shredded has anti-caking agents like potato starch and things like that, which are nice to keep the cheese from clumping together, but that same process prevents your cheese from melting nicely in a cheese sauce like we're making today. So in my opinion, it's always best to grate your own cheese. It's a hell of a forearm workout, but it's worth it, especially if you get you one of these nice big box graters. It makes the job a little bit easier on you. So this is a smoked Gouda. We're gonna grate all of the cheese. The Parmesan we got pre-grated because that's not as big of a deal, and it doesn't tend to have those potato starches and things like that in there. All right, guys, so I went ahead and separated the cheeses. So this is what we're using for the top. Colby Jack's my favorite. It melts beautifully, great color. And here are the cheeses going in the cheese sauce. We have our sharp cheddar, we got mozzarella and smoked Gouda. I'm also gonna throw a little grated Parmesan in there as well. We're gonna boil our noodles in chicken bouillon powder and water. You can use chicken broth or just make sure you salt your pasta water. The goal here is to get a little bit of flavor in those pasta noodles. So if you guys have been watching my channel or any mac and cheese recipe, you guys know that I'm a fan of a roux, or basically a cheese sauce that we're gonna use. And the roux is the thickening agent rather than using eggs or anything like that. So we're going in with a half a stick of butter first, and then we have about 2 or 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. We're gonna allow the butter to melt a bit, add in the flour, cook the raw flour off. That's gonna effectively make the roux. A roux is a combination of fat and flour, fat being the butter today. If you're making a gumbo, it might be, vegetable oil or avocado oil. But once this butter begins to melt, we're gonna get that flour in there, season our roux, and then add in our cream. Let me know in the comments if you're team roux or team eggs for your mac and cheese. All right, butter is mostly melted. In goes a good 2, maybe 3 tablespoons of flour. And you just wanna mix it until it's well combined. It's gonna basically form almost like a paste, which is exactly what we're looking for. So don't be alarmed if you see it kind of, clumping up a little bit. Just get in there with your spatula and break it up. And then when we whisk all the cream in there, all the lumps will dissipate. All right, so now it's time for a little controversy. I already told y'all about the eggs. That's a little controversial. I'm sure we'll get cussed out by somebody in the comments. But next up, I like to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of sweetened condensed milk. Not to make the macaroni and cheese sweet, but the sugar from the sweetened condensed milk is gonna allow all of those flavors from the 5 different cheeses to marry together. So your mac and cheese should not be sweet, but to be well balanced. Same kind of idea when you add sugar to another sauce, or the best example probably is spaghetti sauce. Same concept is there, just to balance the flavors, not to make it sweet. So we're gonna add our cream a little bit at a time, increase the heat, break out the whisk, give it a good mix, and then we're gonna season this to taste. Our elbow macaroni is almost done. We're gonna strain that, add that to our cheese sauce, into the skillet, and then into the smoker. All right, so next up I'm going in with 2 tablespoons of sour cream. This is more so for texture than flavor. Adds a nice little creamy element. You could also use like a ounce or so of cream cheese. If you like cream cheese, that's a good addition to your mac and cheese too. I kind of interchange those two. Cream cheese is gonna be a little bit thicker, so if you like a thicker consistency, I would go with cream cheese. If you don't want it to be too thick, but you still want that creamy texture, add a little sour cream. So we're gonna go ahead and get that in there. And now it's time to start seasoning. So we're going with the least flavorful seasoning of all time, paprika. This is mostly for color. So we're gonna go with that. If I can get it out of the can here. And then a little smoked paprika to, again, play off the smokiness that we got going on. You don't want that uncle to come over and be like, this don't even taste like smoke. So you want to, don't you always got that one family member that you tell them it's something, it's like, I can't even taste it. So we're going to make sure there's some smoky flavor in there. Little AP seasoning, little garlic, a pinch of chicken bouillon. And then we're going to give it a good mix and start adding in our cheeses. As you can see, it's thickening it up beautifully from the roux. Plenty of flavor in there. Nothing that's too heavy on salt other than the little pinch of bouillon. My AP seasoning is very low sodium, so you're in good shape there. I won't say very low sodium, but it's low sodium. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything well combined. I'm liking the color that I'm seeing here. And we're gonna reduce the heat and start adding in our cheese. Another quick pro tip is don't add your cheese when it's boiling hot because the fat will begin to separate from the cheese. You're gonna get an oily mac and cheese, and that's not what you want. So we got our mozzarella, our cheddar, our smoked gouda. We'll go in with a little parm as well. And just do this over low heat and allow the residual heat in the pan to melt that cheese nicely. About a 1/4 cup of parm. Maybe a 1/3 cup. Thanks to that last little bit that fell out there. But either way, we're looking good on our cheese sauce. Taste as you go, adjust the flavor to your preference. That's what it's all about. If you have a favorite cheese, you can use it, swap it out for one of these other cheeses that I got today. And just keep incorporating the cheese until you reach the desired consistency. All right, guys, for this recipe, we're using my cast iron skillet. If you're using a cast iron skillet, I recommend to make sure you grease it, oil it, butter it, whatever you want to do. Just make sure there's some sort of lubrication in there. We went ahead and added a little extra cheese to our mixture. That way we get that beautiful cheese pull a little bit later. Another little pro tip for you guys. We're going to go ahead and add this to our skillet. And then we're going to top it with that Colby Jack for the beautiful color and flavor. Colby Jack tastes good too, but it's just my favorite cheese when it comes to topping like a mac and cheese or casserole or whatever. You name it. Go ahead and smooth that out. We're going to hit it with some cheese and then get it ready for the smoker at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. All right, guys, we got our mac and cheese in our 12-inch cast iron skillet. We have our Traeger smoker fired up to 375 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and place this on there for about 20 to 25 minutes. What you wanna see is a nice golden brown top, brown, bubbly, and beautiful. That's what we're looking for. All right, guys, this is how we're looking after about 25, maybe even 30 minutes in the smoker. What I love most about skillet mac and cheese, if you see here, these beautiful brown edges. Phenomenal. When the cheese kind of almost is about to burn a little bit, gets nice and crispy. My favorite part of a skillet mac and cheese from the grill. Kind of the benefit of doing it on the smoker as well. We'll let this cool for another couple minutes, but we're gonna go ahead and hit it with some parsley just for a pop of color. And this is the part where I say brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is dig in for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, guys, as I said, that little crispy bite right there that's got my name all over it. We got cheesiness, we got crisp. Man, my favorite part of the job. Here we go. Mm.